Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Sisters of Legacy. We thank you guys in advance for joining us. We are going to run our intro and we shall return. Hello, guys. We thank you guys so much for taking out the time to join us on tonight. So, my lovely ladies are going to introduce themselves.
Katrina
Good
Taylor.
evening. I'm Tangela.
I'm Shanetta.
All right. I know every week. Hey, Lisa, thanks for joining us. Every week I do something different. So the ladies is always trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for the night. And to be honest, we just go with the flow. But so we are here this Tuesday and we are going to jump right into this conversation. So I came up with this title. This weekend, I made a journey back home to New York for the weekend. And if you've ever been anywhere on a weekend trip, you realize that that little Friday through Sunday just never is enough time. Now, don't get me wrong, I did accomplish what I went for, but I didn't have time for all the extras. So on the way home, I was kind of thinking, thinking about that. Like, how many times in our lives do we accomplish the things that we set out to do, especially like in a regular work week? We make it to work, our days, our kids survive the week and all these other things. But I'm sure at the end of the week, you're looking like, dang, I was supposed to do this Wednesday, or I should have did that last week. So that was kind of my thought on the way home. Like how many times it feels like sometimes for me anyway, it feels like I'm kind of chasing my tail. Like, I'm chasing it 24 hours is all everyone gets in a day. And sometimes it feels like the days are just not long enough. Like the task exceeds the time. And so I felt like it's something we should talk about. Like, are we setting up our lives to always chase what's happening next? Or are we setting up our lives to enjoy the moments in between? I don't know why I feel like I look so dark tonight. Having all kinds of difficulties. So anyway, I wanted to know if there were any other ladies that feel like I do. Being a woman, I see a lot, people, we doing it all. We birthing the babies, raising the babies. Now the women, we leading the workforce. When they were out rallying and protesting, we was on the front lines of that too. It seems like women are doing it all. And I'm wondering, is it just too much? Are we chasing our tails? Are we chasing the clocks? And what things might we need to do to change that? So I have my lovely co-host here. And let's see, it's two business owners. Everybody has their place in ministry, one way or another. They're all mothers. Some of us are wives. So it's a lot going on with just those few titles, not to mention everyday jobs and all the regular things that come with being a woman. So I wanted the ladies to kind of share their experiences of what their day to day is like. And do they feel like they're chasing the clock? Or have you guys got it mastered? Am I the only one that's like
Child.
chasing my tail? Have you guys got a handle on it? Help me out, ladies.
Definitely not. I can't speak for the other ladies. I think in my head, I'm so much more organized because, like I buy the planners, I set up everything, and I map everything out. But when it's time to execute, it's like, I'm not feeling it. But you kick in because, you got to, the
Right.
kids got to go to school, you got to clock in. So it kicks in. So, and I was just actually talking to a coworker today, that we were just talking like, it's September. And, I was telling her that I didn't feel like I've accomplished some of the things that I want to accomplish professionally. But this has been like the busiest year that I feel like I've had. I feel like I'm more spent. So the time is there and it's being spent on something.
Something.
But but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, ugh, what did I do today? What did I get accomplished? Um, so yeah, I'm hoping to get some advice today.
All right. So Ashley said, what's happened is exposing a lot of us should not have been business owners. Okay, that's one take on it. And she says, so weird is September. Right. Anthony was just saying the same thing. Like, it's already September. And time and gravity do not care about our feelings. Now, that is the truth. Heavy on that gravity part. But that's a whole other conversation. So, Trina,
I mean, on the one hand, I feel like I've got some things together, but then on the other hand, I'm just like, I feel like my procrastination be in full swing. It's like my everyday routine. Like I'll get up early, do what I have to do for the business. Routine, routine, routine. But then other stuff is that list of I've been putting it off. It's the stuff like that I hate doing, like my paperwork for my business, like logging everything, all that kind of stuff. It takes me forever to do it just because I hate to do it, not because it's hard. I just hate to do it. So there's some things that I have together, and then other things is just yeah. I'll wake up and be like, yeah, I want to be productive today. Yeah. And then by the end of the day, so sometimes I just tell myself I could get just one thing crossed off my to-do list, we can celebrate that. Because there's days that, just gotta celebrate the one thing you crossed off. I don't know.
so Ashley said, are you in a classroom? I love the classroom. So, Trina, where are you?
Yes, this is my daycare space in the lower level of my home. And I'm down here because this is the best lighting. Because everywhere else looks like a dungeon or something. So here we are.
Okay, so you said in some areas you feel like you have it together. So which areas do you feel like you got it together in?
The actual day-to-day running of my
Okay.
business. I have a routine, I get the food ready, I clean, all that stuff, the day-to-day running of it. But the paperwork, child, I have to force myself to, keep everything and, do my expenses. I don't like that part of it. And I run a business, but so I have to do it. But it's just
Right.
like I procrastinate so much to where when I actually get to it, it's a lot. And that makes it worse because now I procrastinated. So now it's a lot. And that's worse because I have to do more of something I don't want to do. And you would think that I know this and I would handle that. No. So here we are. I'm like I'm like D'Angelo. I'm like, I'm here to get some advice too, because here we are.
Okay, Shanetta.
Shanetta, we holding out.
I feel like there's a whole lot of pressure.
Okay, so let's see. We got a question. What things do you waste the most time doing? That's a good question.
Sitting
Oh,
on the edge of my bed, contemplating my whole life.
On the edge of the bed, right? It's like,
Just sitting. Like I literally there are moments where I literally just sit and it's like I'm debating my entire life. Like I'm questioning whether or not any of this is worth it in the current moment. Like, I just woke up. I don't want to move. I don't want to talk. I don't want to put the clothes on. I don't want to do the things today. I just like, what happens if I lay back down right now? Like, is the world going to fall apart? I don't know. Let's figure.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty organized. I make to-do lists every day. Of things to accomplish, from whether it's work or things I need to do around the house. I may not accomplish everything on the list every day, but I kind of prioritize what I have to versus what I feel like I have some time to do. And then as it's accomplished, I check it off. And I'll make another one either the next day or within the next few days. I have an agenda that I use for work. And then I have, and that's a paper agenda or the notebook thingy. And then I have my iPhone calendar that I use for everything else. So I put things in my calendar. When my kids were smaller, I felt like there just weren't enough hours in the day. Okay. Because I mean, literally it was get up, get them ready, get them out the door, make sure I eat, get myself out the door, get home, get to practices, feed people because, they got to eat. So feed people. There was a time where I was in school when all of this was happening too. So it was like, take time to study. I remember there was a time where someone asked me, do you ever sleep? And I was like, not really. It doesn't feel like it, because literally I would be up 2-3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes doing homework, or I would fall asleep with a laptop literally in my lap, trying to do stuff, trying to get stuff accomplished. And then there's church. Can't forget church, because, all of that gets added in. So like when it comes down to the church things, a lot of times the to-do list for everything else probably gets pushed to the side because the church list might, trump some of those things and the things that we need to do for ministry. So I feel like there was a time in my life where I felt like I was constantly spinning and didn't have enough time to accomplish things. But I will say that a couple of years ago, I said I was going to slow down. And I said it to myself initially, and then I slowly started kind of saying no to things.
Okay.
And it was uncomfortable. And it was just kind of like, ooh, did I just say no? I did just say no. And then it was kind of like, okay, you got to do it again. And after a while, I kind of got comfortable with saying, I don't think I can do that. I don't think your timeline is realistic. Oh, you waited until the last minute to ask me to do that. So you're not going to get a quality job because you waited until the last minute to ask me for help with that. So I learned how to be more realistic with what I was expecting of me.
Okay.
And I think that helped me a whole lot, because I feel like as moms, as wives, as women in ministry, as women in corporate America or in the workforce, we feel like we can do it all. And when we feel that way, we start putting the pressure on ourselves. And people really do understand, no, I can't do that. That's not possible if we say it. But because we never say it, people continue to throw things at us because they think we're just fine. We're just fine. So I think learning how to say no to some things is okay, and learning how to say it's okay for me to miss something. I remember this one time we missed a church banquet. It wasn't because of time though, but we decided we weren't going to go. And every time people would be like, oh, so we'll see y'all at the banquet. And we were like, no, we're not coming. It was like the world's worst. Like they started offering us free tickets and like, oh, listen, we said we're not coming. We're not coming. Like we're really not coming. And it's okay that we don't come. So I think that we have to learn that it's okay for us not to be a part of everything. If it's not hurting anyone or neglecting your kids, it's okay not to be a part of something. If you need that time to just sit still and sit on the edge of your bed and contemplate life.
That's good. That no is important. Okay, so Ephraim said, how many hours would you need back in your week in order to accomplish your goals or tasks? He said, is 24 hours enough?
I think 48 hours in a day would do it.
I just think honestly, like I know me, I think if I had extra hours, because I'm always so extra, like I think I would fill those hours with other stuff.
Extra stuff.
Like I would say that I've noticed like myself, I overcomplicate the simplest of tasks. Like, some things that should be very simple, like even just having people over for dinner. I can't just make a normal dinner. Normally people just make one meat, a vegetable, and a side,
No,
and
you
that's
can't.
dinner. Like
Mm-mm.
me, I do this to myself all the time. Like I make all this different stuff, and then like I'm running and racing, doing the stuff. I'm like, whoo, I'm tired. I'm not gonna do this next time. And then I do it all over, like all by
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Nobody puts the pressure on me. I just always overdo it, like to myself. So I think the extra hours, I would just find a way to fill them and then complain about like, I'd be like, wow, this day has been going. You ever be like, this is the longest day ever? Right? And it's the same 24 hours that you had yesterday, but somehow it just feels like the day drags on. So, do you guys think more hours would be the answer?
I don't think more hours would be the answer. I think it's, for me, it's my mentality towards whatever it is. Because if it was something that I wanted to do, I'll put it, see, like this. I know people who can't go to work on time, even if they're remote, but can make a 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock a.m. hair appointment 45 minutes away.
Oh,
And I don't know if my sister is watching, but I am talking about her. But so I'm not saying that she doesn't go to work on
no,
time,
I
but
got you.
it's always like, oh, I'm glad you called me, because you just in time. But I think it's our approach, my mentality towards it. It's like, okay, if it's something that I really want to do, then I'm going to be excited about it. I'm going
Okay.
to, I'm looking forward to it. So, but like Trina said, if it's something that I, know I have to do, but don't really want to do,
Mm-hmm.
going to push it off to the last minute.
I thought
So
you were
more
talking
time for
about
me.
hair appointments, Angela.
I know. And when I said it, I was like, oh, I'm not saying, because I know you have your, I've
You
done it too.
feel
I've
me?
been it.
No, I do. I am one that there was times where I could not get it together with other stuff, but that hair appointment I wasn't playing with.
Yeah.
Make it to that appointment on time, even if I had to speed a little bit to get there. Like, um, but I'm one of those people too that if I'm gonna be late, I'm like, let me just go on all the way and be late. Let me go ahead and stop at Chick-fil-A. I'm already late anyway.
But that's a weird thing though. I don't like being late. I don't like being late, but when I get there, it's like, am I being productive? That's the questions that I have. So I value time, but the tasks that come with the day is like, oh, I got to do this, or
Yeah.
I'll end up putting it off to the last minute, because I just think it's a mental emotional connection I have with the particular task.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there was, excuse me, if there was one area, let's say that you could improve, like with just a wave of a wand, you can improve your time management or whatever in one area. What would that area be? So I'll start. I'll give you guys a chance to answer. So for me, I don't know. It's like sometimes I feel like my biggest struggle is with the kids. Like and I know this is gonna probably sound so weird, but like I feel like I went to sleep one night, and then like the next morning my son was taller than me. Like my kids have been homeschooling, like a lot of kids, and my kids are home again this year, and so like I've been seeing them every day, but I'm so busy doing other things. Like I always feel like I'm missing something. And like I said, now he's taller than me. So like the other day he was like, Mommy. You know, like you're so little. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, okay, how does it feel like, I'm not working a 9 to 5 every day, and I still feel like I never have enough time with them. Like, and I think that's the one area that I don't know. I can't seem to figure it out. I don't know if that's the overachiever in me that makes me feel like, it's not enough, like I'm not mommying enough, or if it's really like I'm not putting in enough time. That would be my one area. And they're always with me. So like I don't know.
I don't think any of us feel like we're given enough time with our kids. I don't know. I'm speaking. I might be speaking too quickly on that for you guys, but I think that's just a mom feeling that you always feel like I need more time. My kids youngest 18, and I still like have moments where I'm like, I just needed a little bit more. And I was there. Like I did the whole at-home mom thing. I did the whole working from home, having, not having to be gone all the time piece. I've been the Girl Scout leader, been the cheerleading coach, been the team mom, back and forth to all these sports. And I'm still like, did I give those kids enough time?
Right.
Did I do enough? Was I there enough? And I mean, like, I could probably ask somebody else and they're like, were you there enough? Like, you were there for everything. And I'm like, but I might have missed a game or two. Like, I can remember when the kids were small, 2 of them had football games at the exact same time. So I would have to pick, and we would have to split up, and he would have to go in one direction, I'll have to go in another. And when I tell you that the guilt factor of that alone, and it was little league. Like, so like when he got to high school and it was time for high school games, like if anybody remotely looked at me like they were going to ask me to do something when it was time for a football game, and I can't tell you nothing about football other than touchdown. I all these years and I still don't know anything, but like I literally still have moments where I feel like, did I really give him enough? Did I give all of them enough time? And I mean, I think it's just a mom thing that we all feel.
Oh, let's see. We have a question. Who gets more of your time in a given week? So we're gonna say husbands, kids, yourself, or let's include jobs. He said
Oh
touchdown.
yeah, I was about to say that job gets it. Well, and what I was about to say kind of ties in line with that question. It's hard for me to prioritize myself, and it's hard for me to things that I want to do. Like even if it's I want to study something that benefits nobody but me, I'll push things like that off. If it's something that I want to take care of for myself, I push that off. So I'm lower on the totem pole than I need to be, and I'm learning that as the saying go, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
In order for me to be able to effectively be wife, mommy, employee, all of the things, then I need to be replenished constantly and not just whenever the mood hits.
Gotcha. Trina. So I guess your question would be, yeah, who gets more of your time in a given week? Kids, yourself, business.
Um, at this point, it's probably, I would say, my business, but with my son a close second now. Um, just because it's like Shannon was talking about. It's like from the time he was 5 to 17, it's been football, lacrosse, constantly running. And I had the same situation, like Shannon was saying. Like my daughter danced competitively, so it was if I had a game and a dance competition at the same time, I'll be asking them. I'll be like, "Are you going to be upset if I don't see you dance? How you going to feel?" They'd be like, "Mom, you don't miss. Like, just do what you're gonna do." Like, no, I don't want you to feel away if you look in the stands and you don't see me there. And they were like, just go. But I felt like so bad, like, one of them was going to feel bad or feel away if I wasn't there. And they were like, you're always at everything. Like, it's okay if you go to his. It's okay if you go to hers. You know what I mean? So, I mean, and I was the one feeling all upset about it. And they were fine because they know I'm trying to make everything work. I remember one day I ran across town. I went, saw her dance, went to his game, and I had him stay with one mom, and I went back because it was a tournament. So I went back to see her next dance, and I ran back across town because that's what we do. Yep. So right now it's down to just him and his games and stuff. But it's it's a lot. So I'm still running with that.
Trina and Shanetta, have your kids ever indicated that it wasn't enough, or was that something that you kind of put on yourselves?
I think it was all me. My son would tell me with certain things. He'd be like, you don't have to come to that.
Right.
My daughter would say it. So she's like, you don't have to come. And I'd be like, no, I have to be there. Like, you have to have a parent there. And they would just be looking at me like, are I don't like, it would be like wrestling or track. And they'll be like, oh, well, I don't run until, 2:00. So you don't have to come before 2:00. Meanwhile, I'm showing up at 8:00 in the morning, and I'm there from because track meets and wrestling are like all day. So I would literally show up, it starts at 9, I'm gonna be there at 9, and I'm there from 9 to 6 at night, and having to run out and go do this, go get food and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, but because you're here, I need to be here. And he'd be like, oh, I'm fine. So I think it's true. The last comment that was up is that sometimes we overthink it, and the kids are fine, but my mom brain won't let me not be a part of what they're doing. And I feel Trina, because I would literally run from one thing to the next thing. And I would be literally looking sideways at the school people like, how dare you schedule an orchestra concert at the same time they're having a tournament for track?
Right.
Why would you ever do that? So, yeah, I think it's just us.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shanetta, who gets more of your time in a given week? Husbands, kids, yourselves, ministry? Because we didn't add that in there.
When the kids were home, I would definitely say the kids probably had me running the most, because literally everything I did was kind of centered around making sure they were well taken care of and that they had more than enough. Okay. So it wasn't a neglectful type of, putting them there. It was just more so we were a team in this. And it's hey, husband, that life is all about these people right now. All the money we have, we throw it at those people. And all the time we have, we throw it at those people. And we fit everything else in between. But there were seasons where it would be kind of spread differently. So if it was season for a convocation, for instance, for church, then we already know it's certain things that we kind of have to miss, because we have to focus on the convocation for this particular season, for this particular week. We already knew if it was a Sunday, it was church. So it just kind of depends. My daughter would have cheer competitions on Sundays when she was younger. And literally it was a whole fight to get her father to be there because it was a Sunday. So when she was little, it would be at 8:00 in the morning. So he would come, he would watch her, then he would leave us and go to church. As it started getting closer to that 11 o'clock hour, it was a whole, you got to take that Sunday off. And he would be looking at me like, you have lost your mind. But we did it. So I would definitely say the kids, when they were home, were the main priority, but husband and other stuff wasn't neglected. Now that we are empty nesters,
yay!
I do work a little bit sometimes at home in the evenings, but I try not to. So I try to make sure that he is the priority. myself has never, I don't think I've ever like said, oh, I'm just gonna, like I've been talking about going to get a pedicure and a manicure for like 2 years now. I haven't been to the nail salon since before the pandemic. It was like since September of whatever before the pandemic. So September was the last time I went. Then pandemic hit, and I was just kind of like, okay, I'm definitely not going for a while. And then it started opening back up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go get a pedicure. And I have literally said it like at least once a month, and haven't been yet. And
It's about to be boot season.
yeah, and it's no point, right? So yeah, I don't think I do other than my hair, because my hair is like, we all know that that's serious for me. That's my moment. That's literally my pamper me moment. But that's only once every 2 weeks. So
Okay, so how do we change it? Can we turn it around? Um can we reprioritize some things? Like, what tips do you think maybe you haven't implemented, but you think might be a good idea to do so, or that you're willing to try?
Well, for me, I'm going to, and the weird thing is that I love planners. I love planners, and all things organization, but it's like I can't get past a certain point. So I'm going to simplify it. And like Shanetta said, I'm gonna do to-do lists and just make, and what I have noticed is when I keep it in my head, it probably won't get done. But when I kind of write it out, it's it's more likely that I'll do it. And then when I write it out, the things that I have to do don't seem as bad. And that's the thing that really kind of irritates me, because that's not what we're talking about, sir. I was using it as an example, but now I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
That's the thing that kind of irritates me, because I'll have all of this apprehension or anxiety about doing something, but when I actually do it, it's like, oh, that didn't take that long, or it wasn't that bad. So for me, it's the mental engagement, writing the list and just carving out time. And one of the big wasters of my time, honestly, is social media. I can end up on social media just scrolling, and before you know it, it's like, oh, it's bedtime. So I've been trying to kind of give myself like time periods that I'll be, on social media, and then I say, okay, yeah, I put it down, read a book, or do something else, so that I'm not just kind of engulfed in, all of that.
do y'all watch TikTok videos?
Yes, they are so fun, especially like late at night, because you never know what's gonna come out. So I can't watch it with the kids, but it's like, why? How do people come up with some of this stuff?
Yeah, I refuse to download the app because I don't want another
It'll
scroll.
suck you
I feel
in.
like, I already got Instagram, there's already Facebook. I don't do Snapchat. It's just too much. I don't even really care what y'all are doing. It's just, I don't know. Like, I
No.
feel like it's enough of it. So I won't even download it. Like, if people send me a video, like, you can watch it
Mm-hmm.
without having TikTok. So currently I don't have TikTok. He said, what is your to-do list look like? I don't know. I'm not really a list maker. I feel like by the time I sit down and write out the to-do list, I could have already accomplished something. Like the whole, like in my mind. That's how I feel like by the time I sit down and I'm gonna go through and write it all down, I feel like I could have already done one of those things. So like I'm not a big like list maker, like unless like grocery shopping, I try to make a list. But I don't really do to-do list. I try to do like plan out for the month, maybe, little stuff like, okay, I know I want to put it out in here, or I know I want to put down, I try to do that to kind of keep myself on track. I think For me though, the biggest struggle is, like I said, I know I'm over the top, and I know I do like more than probably I should. So I try not to infringe my over the topness on other people. Cause like when you think, oh, we should just go, we need to do, and then you always bombarding other people with your extraness. So like that's my struggle. I try not to to do it for other people. To write it. Oh, writing it down is hard.
Have you guys ever heard of bullet journaling?
Yes.
It's
No.
like this whole, I just discovered it like last week. So apparently there's this whole system, there's this whole big thing, and it's on YouTube and right, D'Angelo? And
No, you're
I'm,
absolutely right.
yeah, I just discovered it. Apparently, it's like people make these books, these journals, and it's like a whole system of how you,
Right,
it's a system of to-do listing basically,
right.
right? But
Right.
it's different categories, and it's kind of like monthly and then weekly and then daily of how you do each part of your, it's basically um complicated to-do
And
listing, but it's supposed to make your life easier. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at it, but I'm not sure if I want to delve.
so
I don't
can
know.
I
I've
tell
been
you
looking at it.
something?
It looks like it could be helpful to keep you mindful and keep
Right.
everything in your eyesight and in front of you. Like I think it could be helpful in that way. But then like I was watching a video yesterday about it, and it's like the guy was saying like this is a system, but you have to make it your own. So some people make it like really pretty and all these pictures and drawings and doodles and all this, making it so pretty. The journal, and other people are just like, okay, these are the things I need to move forward. This is my month to month and move it. And it's very basic, so it's everything that it's how you want to do it. So I don't know. I've been thinking about I might look into it or try it.
So let me
I
tell
don't
you, I almost bought you one because I
know.
went. Yeah, you. Because I went to the store and I was like, I
A
wanted,
regular journal?
yes, a bullet
Okay.
journal.
Oh, the
So I
bullet
went to
journal.
the
Okay.
Yeah, I went to the store and I'm like, okay, I want to get, because before you had kind of talked about writing, and I was like, I want to get her a journal so she can start putting some of the stuff down, and then she'll think about me every time she pick it up. Had all this idea, and I'm in there and I'm looking at journals, and I was like, what is all this stuff?
Right.
And I
It's
see,
a
I
lot.
opened the pages, and I was like, she don't want to be doing all,
Then they got
like,
like stickers and stencils and all kinds of
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
like
It,
I
it
spent,
gets very elaborate. And I
it
think
Yeah.
is.
for me, I got caught up in all of the accessories of the planner. And then I'm like, okay, now where did that planner go?
Yeah. My
Right.
planner is like that I currently use for work. And literally I've been using it since the new one since August, the beginning of August, and I have not pulled out any of those stickers. I just randomly write stuff in it, but I haven't used any of the stickers and the things, the flag stuff, and like
Yeah.
it's all there. And everybody that sees it, they're like, "Oh, this is really cool." And I'm like, "Yeah," until you don't have time to use it.
Right, like wouldn't you spend so much
Right.
time like filling it
But
out that
but
you
yeah, but for some it can be very kind of therapeutic
Right.
to kind of create these beautiful layouts. But then I'm like, you don't have room to write nothing in it because you have, the picture of the sister girl taking up, Monday through
it's
Friday,
a
and then
lot
you
of
have
stuff.
it's elaborate, it's really pretty. But
Yeah, I was gonna
again,
say it
like
looks
you
so
said,
pretty, but like who has time to do all that? But it looks nice. I
I'm
don't
I left them journals. I couldn't find just
the
like
plain.
something nice with a
Yeah.
leather. I was like, I want it to be nice, and everything nice that I opened had all this stuff in it. I was like, just too much. I'm like, I left out of the store like I'm gonna have to go on Amazon and find. Because remember I said I'm gonna send you something because I wanted to see, find some nice stuff to send. I said this is way too complicated. A journal ain't supposed to be this much work. He said,
But
what are some of the things that you don't get done? Oh, she said I like scrapbooking.
It's always
Okay.
like
Yeah,
scrapbooking.
it is like scrapbooking.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
scrapbooking.
Okay. So what are some of the things you don't get done?
Laundry.
Well, eventually you get it done.
Well, I mean, it's clean, but it's not folded and put
Oh
away.
well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's. I mean, I have aspirations to do that each time, but
I like that. Me too.
Aspiration.
Okay. So laundry for you, Tangela. What are some of the things you don't get done?
I'm not going to tell you what your friend over here. Uh, for me, it's like those, those things for me. Like
Right.
I like to write, so I don't write as often as I would like
Mhm.
to. There's things that I'm doing better about reading. There was a time that I would read all the time, so I'm doing better about that. But yeah, those are kind of some of the things that I don't get to as often as I would like to.
Okay. Shanetta.
I would agree with Katrina on that laundry situation. Like I wash the clothes. I'm currently washing clothes. I'm not sure when they're gonna get put away, but such is life, and they're clean. Grab a shirt out that pile and keep it moving.
Right.
Might
Yeah. That laundry. I think.
get the wrinkles out just a little bit.
I will fold it up, or sometimes I make the kids fold it, which just means they just roll them up. So then, so I will fold them, and they wind up on the big chair in my room. And my husband's always like, "You in this chair?" And I'm like, "It's clean.
It's
You
clean.
want to show?" Like,
It's clean.
yes. So I think laundry is an ongoing struggle. What are some of the things you don't get done? Yeah, the other part of some of the things I don't get done, we won't say online. Oh, it does require extra assistance. I don't get that done nearly enough. I think for yeah, or stuff for like me personally, like
Yeah.
that whole personal stuff. I I force myself, or I always make time, to get stuff done, for other people. I just, or stuff for the ministry, or stuff for the mister, and then stuff for the kids. Now my mom is back in town, is driving 30 minutes over to where she is just so she can look at me for a little bit, and then I drive back. Like, so I get all those things done, but like I really, get stuff done for me. Like I got all these cheats. I told Trina about one of my cheats on Sunday. Like I figured out a cheat for almost anything that's for me. But anybody else, I do the long math. I do it for everybody else. So some of the things I don't get done is like, probably a lot of that whole self-care stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think that's I don't know. I'm gonna say, and I know Ephraim probably in the back said, "Oh, it's men too," but I'm gonna say, as women, I feel like a lot of times we put ourselves on the back burner,
Yeah.
and we just give and do and do and do. And it may be true for men, but I'm not a man, Ephraim, so um, so yeah, I know, women, we gotta do and do and do and do. He said, those that are interested in writing or creating, have you guys ever heard of the Pomodoro technique? No, I haven't.
Y'all gonna have me on Google for real tonight.
Right.
I looked up bullet journals,
Mhm.
Pomodoro technique.
Is that the right spelling of that?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a time management system that
Pomodoro.
encourages people to work with the time they have rather than against it. So this message, you break your workday into 25-minute chunks separated by 5-minute breaks.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Look
Nice.
at that.
Write that down.
That's really nice. I wouldn't be able to do anything like that. My work day flows literally from I get my first kids. I'm supposed to get them at 9:15, but I don't get them right now. Next week it'll be 9:15. But I get kids at like 9:35 and I'm with them nonstop until 2:45. I don't even have time to go to the bathroom. So there's no like, oh, like, break the day apart. It's the whole day is like do until I get home. But yeah.
I'm interested in this. I'm gonna have to look into this because for me, it's my work day is pretty much one end of the spectrum or the other. It's like back to back focus. Yeah, I have to remember to get up and stretch, or it's kind of let me see what I'm doing. Then I get swayed off task or something like that. So this might be helpful.
Okay, so I have a question. So let's just say perfect world scenario. Trina, I'm gonna start with you because I think the question might have to be a little tailored for each person. So Trina, perfect world, if you could, I don't know, you get a building, you could hire other people to run your daycare. You didn't have to run the daycare at all. Tyson 19 in college is just you. Money's not a factor. What would you do? What would your day look like? What would you do?
What would I do? Well, I'd be living overlooking some sort of beach. And I would probably be doing something more creative, like writing something or creating something as I
Okay.
look out over the ocean.
Okay. So Shanetta, all right, you halfway there. You got an empty nest. Let's just say you had a windfall of money, enough where neither one of y'all have to work. What would your life look like?
Well, we would probably be traveling if like we live like money is not an object and we don't have anything to worry about and we're not working. We would probably be spending the time traveling to places that we haven't been.
Okay.
So it'll be like catch me if you can. Like we'll be back on Monday. Maybe we'll be back on Sunday. I don't know. We don't have to work, so we might not come back on Sunday. We're gonna watch y'all online these days. I don't know.
Okay.
We're from Europe.
Okay, so Tangela, kids, let's fast forward because like I said, it's got to be tailor made for everybody. Kids is grown in college, both of them somewhere in college or married off. It's just you and the mister, and y'all have made enough money where y'all like, okay, we done with the working. What would your life look like?
Honestly, I would be in school, even if I have completed, my desired degree. I would still want to keep learning. Um, I would probably be doing something creative as far like writing, or publishing books or workbooks or things like that. We would probably be working in ministry, but not necessarily church ministry. I would be interested in, outside of the church type of, ministries as far as, feeding, clothing, probably in schools or I don't know, something like that. That at that stage of my life, I wanted to be more fulfilling personally and emotionally. And we're gonna travel. Yeah, that's it.
Tangela, I keep hearing you talking about writing. I need you to go ahead and get your book going. Like whatever it is that you just have like within you. And I know we're talking about time tonight, and that's probably the big factor in it, but there's something there. There's something to that.
Mhm.
And I think it's just, I don't know. It's time. You got to do it.
No, I agree. Ephraim has been saying that for years, and I know I know you're absolutely right. It's time for me to stop with the excuses, and time is an excuse if it's something that you want to do.
Right.
Look, but at least he didn't say sister this time. He just McNair. He didn't say sister. Okay, so that was gonna be part two of it. So if realistically, out of all the things you said, everyone, like I'm sure there's one thing in something that you said that you could very well start doing now, right? Like I mean, if you really pushed it, if you're just like, okay, you know what, this it, like I'm gonna get it. I'm sure there's one thing that you guys could start doing out of your list of things, that you said you would be doing in a perfect scenario. So Ephraim said, what time? Oh, what time? Oh, what time do you start and end your day? How much rest are y'all getting? So Trina, what time
Okay,
does your day
Serena.
start?
I'm up at like 6:15.
Okay. And what time does your day end? Typically.
Probably around 10:30, 11.
Oh, okay. Shanetta?
My first alarm is set for 6:45 on a normal day.
You did not say first. Go
Yes,
ahead.
when I have
Oh,
multiple
multiple. Yes.
one of them literally says be up now, like this is your absolute last alarm for the day or you're late. I definitely am the multiple alarmer. So 6:45 I'm up ish around that time. Day ending, it depends on the day of the week. Usually it's whenever my body shuts down. There was a time where it would be well after or close to midnight. But now, as I'm getting a little older, it's like wherever I fall, like kind of like toddlers, like wherever they lay, that's where they are. So wherever I fall asleep, I might, my husband might have to wake me up and be like, okay, hey, you gotta go upstairs, you gotta go to the bed. You're on the couch. It's time to go to bed. You've been asleep for 2 hours now. So yeah. It just kind of depends on the day and what's going on, where we are, what's happening.
Okay. Tangela?
Okay, my goal time to get up is 5:30.
Okay.
I usually get up around 6:15.
Okay.
And my work day usually ends most days about 6ish in the afternoon. Um, but I usually don't settle down until probably about 11, 12.
Okay.
But that's totally different than rest because I'll fall asleep, but then I'm usually up between 2 and 3 o'clock morning
Right.
Like every night?
for the most part. Yeah.
And what do you do? Just lay there? You get up, you watch TV? What do we do?
Scroll on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
But I'm working on it. Sam, with your judgmental eyes. I'm working on it.
I didn't expect that answer. That's what the answer it wasn't judgment. The answer just took me by surprise. I don't know why I thought you was going to say I thought you were going to say pray.
But like my mind tells me, this would be a good time to pray.
Right.
And I'm working on it. I literally, that is a focus. Like I'm reading books about discipline and prayer. So I'm working on it. That's really my 5:30 wake up that's supposed to be my prayer time. But my flesh is struggling. So, y'all pray for me.
Listen, I really thought you were going to say pray. I was like, oh, Lord. Because I wake up and I get, what you there? You said that one-eyed demon? I get the one-eyed demon going. I get right to the TV and I turn it on the TV if I wake up in the middle of the night. And I be thinking, you know what? Maybe the Lord woke you up for a reason. Right while I'm clicking, oh, I ain't seen that. Right when I'm doing that. Okay, so we all gonna make a commitment, ladies. I'm gonna say within 30 days, I'm gonna give y'all some time. One of those things that you said you would definitely be doing, and at least think about it. Write down how you would do it. Y'all like to make lists. Shanetta, make a list how you could get to some of that stuff, or make a list of some of the places that you want to go. What'd you say?
Make some more money.
Well, listen, and you need to write that down too. And then, under there, you got to, how do we make the more money? Whatever works. So I think you should, one of those things you guys should put some energy into doing. I mean, yes, commitment in 30 days. Yes. The reality is none of us are going to live forever. One day is just gonna be it. Whether we do the things that we have in our head and our hearts or not, one day that clock is just gonna wind out. So I think it's important, for us to take a little time for us, especially as women. Sometimes we feel like that's selfish. Oh, I gotta, especially with little kids, Tangela, you in the same boat with me. You feel like, oh, I can't do this because the kids, well, I can't do this. I gotta wait till the kids get to this age, and I gotta wait till the kids get to, and it's always waiting, for the kids. And oh, but the kids need more time here, so I can't do this. Or, oh, the baby's not sleeping. Let me go in here with her. You know what I'm saying? It's always those extra things. And I think if as long as we allow it, everything is always going to pull at us. There's always going to be something. So I think it's important that we try to reclaim some of our time for some of the things that God has placed in our hearts and our minds, put in our hands for us to do, and we like, okay, yeah, I'll get to that later. We dropped it, packed it away, put it in the closet. Let's unpack some of those things. I think it's healthy for us. And it's like you said, some of these things will be very therapeutic. And then you never know what might come out on the other side. So I'll say to any woman that feels overwhelmed, you feel like you're chasing your tail, make that list. What if money wasn't a factor? Because I know a lot of times that is the biggest hindrance people think about, money. If money wasn't a factor, what would you be doing? And then, okay, so how do I get to where maybe I can do some of that? How do I get, to maybe I can do something? Maybe I could take a weekend trip. I can't go to Paris just yet, but maybe I could focus on seeing the 50 states. You start with the ones closest to you that you can drive to for the weekend. Small stuff, take better baby steps. The latest saying is what? Live your best life. Listen, in some ways, we have to focus on living our best life. We can't. I saw something on Facebook. It said something about we're born with nothing, and then we fight all our lives for stuff that we can't take with us when we go, and then you still die with nothing. Like you die, and you got to leave it all here. So let's make some of these things count. I've seen things where people say, what are you going to do with your dash? You know how, like, when you're born, it's like 1976, and then you have the dash, and then whenever you die, and it's like, what have you done with your dash? With those years in between your birth and your death, what have you done with it? And it's important for us to think about these things. Like, what are we really doing, with our lives? What are we really, really accomplishing? Mothering, great. We got that. We've done that. Wifing, nope, it's not a word, but we got that too. Like we've been sisters and friends and all those other things. But what have you been to yourself?
Yes.
So instead of being your own biggest hindrance, be your own biggest cheerleader. It's nice for other people to push you and support you, but let's support ourselves. Let's take a little me time. And if you feel it's selfish, that's fine. God bless you. I'm not talking to you. But let's take some time and really invest in ourselves. I think it's important. I think it's good for us. I think, God created us for a purpose, and it's not always to just be a slave to people and things. So that is my 2 cents. We are here every Tuesday at 8:30. Ladies, I thank you guys for joining me every week. To all our viewers, thank you guys for joining us. We will be back next Tuesday at 8:30. And until then, stay safe. Let's see. Uh-oh, something wrong. Why do I can't do this?